Antlers, assumptions, and artillery. So what does that mean? Holly asks as she sees Bjorn return from his debriefing in another part of the ship. He has a badge on him showing a strange tusked quadruped with wings followed by words in a language she doesn't know. It's the insignia of our branch. We're going for a theme with such things. If the name isn't extremely practical like the Earth Foreign Legion, then it's going to be symbolic like the Chainbreaker, or in this case, the Flying Hogs Recruitment and Training Battalion. I don't understand. There's a saying on Earth, when pigs fly. It generally means that something is impossible or never going to happen, but our symbol is a pig flying, meaning we make the impossible possible. Holly scoffs. Yay, cool and all, but you just said you're the flying hogs, not the flying pigs. Hog is another word for pig. It sounds more dignified to human ears. Bjorn remarks and she scoffs. He ignores the girl's attitude as he sits down across from her. So, what's the cover? Would you like to be a fitness instructor? You and the other victims of the Umbral organization are all in incredibly good shape and know how to push and push and push, meaning you'll be able to help us get our recruits into shape as well as shut them up about some things only being possible with Axiom. Fitness? I mean, I've still been working out. It's strangely soothing. The other girls have reported the same. All of them are still, well, workout addicts. This means you're all in great positions with a bit of training to make fitness instructors or even drill sergeants. Drill sergeants? A drill sergeant teaches the absolute basics to fresh recruits. It involves being scary, noisy, and also funny. You need to get everyone moving together as a single cohesive movement and teach people just how hard they can push themselves. Would I have to hurt people? Actually, no. A drill sergeant is allowed to yell, scream, insult, and assign punishments, but they cannot strike the recruits. The idea is to stop people from acting like idiots and have them break into herd mentality where no one wants to drag down the group. And if no one is slowing down the group, then that means everyone is working together for the betterment of the squad. I see. Of course you'll need your own training to get it right, but it's a rewarding career path that also lets you be the scariest thing around for the dumb recruits. You know you were a recruit once. Holly rebukes him. I was indeed a dumb recruit once. Drill sergeant scared the crap out of me and got me moving. Pushed and pushed until I thought I had nothing left to give and then made me get up and give even more. I'm not sure I understand. Do you know what the greatest strength of a soldier is? The weapons? Oh no, those are just party favors. A soldier's greatest strength is their will, the will to push and push, to push beyond and do more, even when you thought you couldn't. To reach the end of your limits and rise again anyways. A soldier's not done until he's either relieved of duty or dead, sometimes not even then. And what? A drill instructor puts it there? No, they draw it out. A soldier can be completely out of shape, down a limb and tired. But if they've still got their will and remember their training, then they can do things few others can, Bjorn says, and Holly scoffs. Don't believe me? No. Fine, I can't force you. Nor can I do anything else than offer the sales pitch. Bjorn remarks. It had been a long shot anyways. But hey, you never swing, you never hit, to use a baseball analogy. So, do you know where we're going? There are going to be a single main recruiting and training center in the Vrenraku arcology, with flyers and advertisements being sent to many of the others. We've managed to rent out a part of the arcology with access to the outside, plenty of manufacturing room and bunk space for both equipping and housing our recruits. Why is access to the outside important? Room to run, shoot, and do drill formation so that the recruits can get used to acting as a group. We're going to train them up to Army standard rather than Dauntless standard. What's the difference? Pardon? Between Army standard and Dauntless standard. It takes 4 times as long and nearly 20 times the resources to fully train someone to Dauntless standard. That's the level I'm at. If I'm dropped naked and alone in the middle of enemy territory with a mission to decapitate their command structure, literally, then I still have middling to fair odds of accomplishing it. Clothing and a basic sidearm and knife makes things much, much easier. I don't understand. Dauntless Standard takes 2 years to train as opposed to 6 months in the Army. Long story short, the extra time is not only not wasted, but it's so jammed-packed with more training that you could drop out at 3 months and have the equivalent of full Army training. Didn't you say something about a 95% failure ratio? It's not easy, no. 19 people failed, and I succeeded. Bjorn remarks before chuckling. It's probably for the best that our level of training is what's going to be considered the elite training. Forcing it on everyone that signs up is a good way to get everyone running for their lives. Right. And where will we be? When can we get off this ship? I don't like being penned in like this. Holly protests, and Bjorn checks the time on his communicator. 3 hours and we touch down. We just need to move our stuff into our quarters, then we can start bouncing around or outside the Vrenraku arcology as much as you'd like. And you don't have a problem with that? Not at all. We may have maps of the local area and blueprints, but neither of those things compare to actually putting boots on the ground and getting the lay of the land yourself. Why is that so important? Blueprints won't tell you what stores are most popular or have an easily bribed guard. They don't tell you where the gangs are or if there's a slum. Likewise, maps miss a lot of things as well. Is there a tundra worm breeding ground somewhere around the arcology? Are there animal runs? Caves? You need to take a look to find those things. Oh, so you have no problem hitting a restaurant with me or just going on a leisurely walk in the gardens? No problem at all. Just tell me ahead of time if you want to do something and I'll make sure I have time for it. Or if I can't, then I can tell you and we can find a better time to head out, he answers. At least you have time for me. Holly mutters lowly, but Bjorn catches it. Things didn't go so well with your dad? Bjorn asks, and the way Holly flinches tells him that he got it in one. Want to talk about it? No. All right, I'm always around if you need me though. But seriously, talk your way through your problems. Letting them fester is just poison for the mind and soul. Is that experience talking? It is. I carried a lot of shit with me when I left public education and it boiled over badly in training. I took things too far and was given the option of getting the hell out or seeing the psychiatrist. So I saw the doctor and they worked me through my issues. So did no one actually pass? Holly demands, and Bjorn shoots her a confused look. I've spoken to a lot of different dauntless soldiers and all of them have given me a story about how they barely passed. About how, if not for a bit of forgiveness here or there, or the ability to take another test once or twice, they would not have made it. The standard was set so high that you'd have to be a borderline demigod to get through without seriously struggling. 95% is considered as near to perfect as can be expected in a lot of academia. That was the cutoff ratio. In training to crew the Dauntless, you could do everything right. You could give everything you had, and even then you could still fail. It was insane. Half the time, it seemed like the people dropping out were just being disqualified at random. It's not something you put someone through unless they're willing to give their all or unless you want them broken. Oh, please, look, you can tell me stories all you want, but Holly's cut off when Bjorn tosses his communicator at her. She fumbles it and then sees he's brought up an image. It sort of looks like him, if he'd suddenly dropped half his body mass and had a prominent gut. The boy in the picture seems timid and uncertain, wide-eyed and even frightened. The sheer difference in presence, not to mention stature, is so stark that she has to compare the two and makes note of the tiny scar on Bjorn's left eyebrow that is in both the picture and reality. She goes quiet before tossing back the phone to Bjorn and staring at him oddly, even though he has little idea what her currently churning axiom presence means. He can read her posture and face easily enough. Respectfully, he lets the silence sit. She'll talk when she's ready. It takes nearly an hour for her to find her voice. My father did almost the exact same thing, she whispers. He brought out a picture of me before I was taken and asked what had happened. I doubt that went over well. It didn't. It really didn't. He doesn't mean to hurt me, but seeing who I used to be, that cute little girl with everything ahead of her and no clue how bad things can get, it hurt. It hurt so much. Were you able to explain that to him? Bjorn asked softly. I needed help from Mom. My other mothers also helped. She's pushed so hard to bring me back in, to be part of the family again. She's worked so hard to help me feel like a proper clatterhooves and not an oversized and over-muscled stranger wearing the face of her daughter. She's a hell of a woman. You're lucky to have her, Bjorn remarks, and Holly nods. Will she run out of time for me, though? Bjorn's question isn't asked, but clearly there. She's pregnant. I'm going to be a big sister. I've had younger siblings, but only from my other mothers. This is the first time I've had a full-blood sibling, and I'm worried that Mom won't be able to help me anymore. I'm afraid that's not something I can help with. Family affairs are just that. But I will be here for you as long as you need it. I might not have any authority over your parents, but I can at least listen if you have problems. Oh, if it's any comfort, I doubt your mom will suddenly forget about you or refuse to help. Sure, the baby will need a lot of attention, but it won't be taking all of it. But I've always been her youngest. What will it mean to not have that kind of help anymore? Well, I suppose the only thing to do is teach you so that you won't need it. Everyone leaves home eventually, so why not you? I miss so much, though. I don't think I can ever catch up. To who? What? Oh, sorry, to whom? Bjorn says, using a slightly more formal lilt in his tone to get the point across. I don't understand. Who are you trying to catch up to? What standard are you trying to meet? What great magical marker on the road of life are you trying to reach? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to catch up to? Is there someone you want to do better than? Is there some goal you have to accomplish by this point in your life? Accomplished doctor, married and with a child? That sort of thing? Bjorn asks, and Holly blinks. But what about other people? What about them? What would other people think? Well, I don't care. Your mother just wants you safe, and who else is there? Is there someone you're trying to impress? Well, no. Then why would you give even the slightest crap about what a bunch of total strangers think about you? Live your life for you and not anyone else, Bjorn says, and Holly's just staring at him. He just shrugs. If they've got no power over your life and aren't a part of it, then what does it matter what they think? You could dye the rudest words imaginable into your fur, and unless you start committing crimes, then they can't really do a damn thing about it. You can spend your days doing nothing but laying around, playing games, and eating the most unhealthy food imaginable. Unless you hurt someone, then they've got nothing they can do to stop you and no room to complain. Your life is yours. You haven't sworn it to anyone. You haven't made any oaths. Live the way you want to. And if I want to do better, if I want to be better than the people around me, not only stupid strong but well-educated, married to a hunk and with a well-paying job, Holly asks and Bjorn grins, then we've got some work to do, but I'm still beside you. So what are you thinking in the way of a career? Well, I was just kind of... Her body language and her axiom presence are synced in a way he has no idea how to decipher. You need time to think. Reality is spinning on a dime around you. I understand. Know it. Never mind, Holly says, and he gives her a confused look. You're willing to help me with all that? Sure, he says, and she blinks a bit in shock at his quick answer before smiling.